Does anyone in here not know who I am?
I don't.
I'm Brendan. I ran MAGFest for 10 years, and then suddenly I got a hard-on for doing chiptune covers for some reason, and writing game soundtracks, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Anyway, I do chiptunes. My focus is on authenticity, which means that I want to write chiptunes that are actually possible on old hardware. So if you go to YouTube and you search for, what's a really good bad example? Nickelback 8-bit remix. Then you're going to find a bunch of kids that downloaded Nickelback tabs, and then they piped them into something called Guitar Pro, and then Guitar Pro shit out a MIDI file, and then they took that MIDI file and they gave it to a program called GXSCC. And that program will play it back and make it sound 8-bit. The problem is that 8-bit computers are not actually putting out 8-bit sound. They're putting out 4-bit sound, and also that GXSCC program can put out 48 sounds at a time, and your lovely little Nintendo can only put out 3 tones, some fuzz, and like shitty-ass drums. So 90% of the shit you find on YouTube is just fake, not really 8-bit, not really chiptunes, not really anything. Now there are people that are trying to push the envelope with chiptunes and doing stuff like what I like to call chip hop, which is, you know, like doing hip hop on top of chiptune beats or whatever. Mega Ran's a good example of that. A-Rival, if you've heard of him. You know, and then there's people like Anamanaguchi that are doing rock on top of chiptunes and whatever. For those people, you know, like Chip is a part of their band. It's not a part. Yeah, I mean, they're people are. When people ask me if I like chiptunes, I don't think of Anamanaguchi, even though they're excellent musicians, because it's more than that, you know. And like that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to do more than that. But like my deal is a chiptune is a song coming out of a console. Does anyone in here actually not know what a real chiptune is or sounds like or anything? Don't be shy. Excellent. So I prepared this little thing that I'm going to show you anyway because I think it's funny. And this is for teaching people what chiptunes are that don't actually already know what they are. So there's a bunch of eras. First, you heard popular music in like the 70s and the 80s and stuff, and you listen to chiptunes and you listen to these songs and you're like, oh, there's chiptunes in these songs. And so like, a good example is Just What I Needed by the Cars. Does anyone actually know this song? I can't really. But these guys have a synthesizer, and right here, you're going to hear it. You hear that background thing, whatever? Right, so actually it's a 50% square wave. And here's me playing the same song on an NES at, I think, MAGFest 9, and I look like shit, and I'm sitting on the stage because I think it was like 10 in the morning. Hey look, it's the same sound. Alright, that doesn't actually blow your mind, but this is going to blow your mind, right? Who knows this song? You hear that bass? You know what that bass is? It is. It's the default DX7 bass, and listen to what this is. So what happened in that era is Sega was like, hey, we're going to put an FM chip in a system. And in Japan, FM was a thing in like 1983, and in the US, FM wasn't really a thing except in keyboards and music until like 87, 88, 89. Like, basically 1989 is when the ad-lib came out for PCs, it's when the Sega Genesis came out, it's when, like a couple early arcade machines earlier than that, you'd start to see FM chips, but Sega had a toolkit called GEMS, and GEMS allowed you to actually hook your DX7 up and do sysx, which means that you can send like patches and instruments back and forth. And you could send all your instruments out of your keyboard to GEMS, and like basically it enabled like real musicians, not just, you know, people that are like, oh, I'm a programmer and I know something about music, to write music. And so that's why you started hearing about, like, biggest example is Michael Jackson writing video game music, but, you know, like other people that just had musical experience that wanted to write game music. Tommy Tallarico usually tells the story about how he like worked at Guitar Center and knew how to rewrite all of the patches on the keyboards and whatever, and like show off the keyboards, and someone from Virgin walks in and like, you know, said, hey, you want to write music for video games? Like that era is when we started being able to like plug all of our hardware into machines and, you know, like get that. Before that, it was bleeps and bloops and writing music and shit that looks like you're not going to be able to see that because it's behind it. There, this thing. So, this is what writing chiptunes really looks like, even today. And the reason is because, well, it's just how we do it. And hit play, and it plays like a music box. La 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 la. Does anyone know the song yet? What do you think it is? Which song, do you know? It is Depeche Mode.
I know I recognize the melody, but it's not
If I play more, will you know?
I don't remember the name.
Get a goddamn poster right now. Actually, just take a poster out of that bag and give one to that guy. Boom. Yes, it is Depeche Mode, I feel you. So, sometime in like 1985 or some shit, we wanted to make computers do awesome stuff, like display 3D graphics even though they have no idea how to do that because computers didn't have 3D hardware and stuff like that. So there was something called the demo scene. The demo scene, they're not game demos, they're not anything, they're just demos of like people's programming abilities and whatever. So they would do like basically a computer music video that would show off how well they can program and how well their music guy can do music, and every once in a while they would flash up like some still frames of artwork and, you know, like try to push computers to their limits. And it would be limited to a certain size, like the size of a floppy disk, which means like 200K. Does anyone even know what a kilobyte is anymore? Like, okay, actually that's a serious question. Raise your hand if you know what a kilobyte is. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I date myself sometimes. I'm a get off my lawn kind of guy, so. All right, so if you're limited to 200K, you're gonna smash music into a small amount of space. You're gonna smash graphics into a small amount of space and all that shit. So you need music that's gonna be like 10K, because the rest is going to be like basic code or using cool graphics or whatever. And so the demo groups released trackers, which is like this to the world, which is the tools that they were handing their musicians to write music for their demos. And then everyone kind of latched onto this. And so there's a track. And then I just load up and be like, okay, look, that one mode? Yes. Okay, look, here's another tracker. How similar does that look? Oh, wait, hold on. I can do this again. In fact, I'm using it only like Windows so that I can show you track. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I know this is kind of annoying, but... Oh, hey, there's a Commodore track. Okay, so the point is like everyone latched onto this concept. And in 2000, this guy in Europe came up with something called LSDJ, Little Sound DJ, which is one of these, except it runs on the Game Boy, and you have to hit button combinations to see the entire screen because the Game Boy screen is so small. And suddenly, now you can carry a tracker in your pocket as long as you have a Game Boy and a flash card, which is going to cost you like 30 bucks. And everyone is writing music on the subway with their Game Boy, and Bloodfest becomes a thing, and people that play video games think the Game Boy is like the first game system ever to exist, and like chiptunes only come from Game Boys, and I am here to tell you, God damn it, that's not true. And so I'm going to go back to my my other thing now. Sorry, that's my rant. I'm going to close a couple trackers. All right. So then some things happened, like Commodore 64 games. Looks pretty old and shitty. Lazy Jones is actually kind of fun. I feel like I've heard that before. Anyone else? And actually, Kerncraft, like Zombie Nation, said that they ripped that off for Kerncraft. So all of a sudden, some other stuff started happening. For example, Oh No, who I actually added this. This used to say, oh no, indeed, because he like totally ripped off the riff. But did anyone watch the Red Bull Music Academy thing, Dig It In the Carts? No one? Go watch it. I hate Red Bull so much. Oh shit, I just said that on camera. Anyway, the point is, the point is like Red Bull, whenever you see a Red Bull commercial, what do you see? Sports, skydiving, sports, excitement, skiing, snowboarding, sports, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. Like that is pretty much their image, right? So I was like, okay, Red Bull is going to do like a thing about like video games, and I don't really, is this going to be about like sports, skydiving, and how to play a Game Boy while you're on a snowboard? And it turns out it's fucking awesome. It is so good. And they go and interview like a ton of old school Japanese composers, and like just sit them down and they're like, yo, just be real with me, what's going on? And one of the people they interviewed is Oh No, because he's totally into video games, and he did this. Yes, 2004, biatch. So the thing is where did he get that riff from? Anyone have any ideas? Straight out of Castlevania 4, 3, Compton. I don't have a good pun for that right now. So people started sampling this shit. I'm really sorry about this next one.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Put my glasses on out the door. I'm gonna hit this city.
I can't remove more of that. But like, people started actually using chiptunes in real music, not just, you know. And like, I don't know who this is, Dead Now 5 or something, but anyway, you know, like, speaking of FM, right? Obviously those beats are not coming out of any bit, but like, all of this other stuff is like straight out of like late 80s, early 90s pops. later in this, you start hearing arcs. Almost all of that in chiptunes and whatever. Now, I'm kind of a stickler for authenticity, so like, that is more than one system. So, sorry, Deadmau5, you're a douche. No, he did a good job on that. I don't know why he called it 8-bit. He could call it something else, but maybe that gets him more sales. Oh, and the lawsuit thing. Does anyone know about the lawsuit thing? This is the lawsuit thing I'm not going to talk about is how Crystal Castles ripped off a bunch of chiptunes from other people and then like put them in their music and added beats and stole them and whatever. But this one takes the cake right here. I'm just gonna sort of let this run. Timbaland didn't steal just that, but everyone knows the song, right? Good? Or most people, you'll know it when you hear it, which is right now. So that's the thing that happened. This happens a bunch. Sometimes it's kind of an honoring thing. I mean, like, think about the Yodo thing. Like, he's just ripping a rev and using it, whatever. But, like, the other song is like, yo, that's that entire song. So that kind of started a war. A lot of chiptuners deal with stuff like that because people are like, oh, yeah, it's just a video game song. No one gives a shit. But chiptunes are a lot more than that, you know? All right, so I think that's the end of, is there anything else in this? No. It's the end of that bullshit one. All right, I have one. What's that? I want my other chat. You know what? I'm just going to do this. Does anyone have any questions so far? I'm just kind of like rambling and doing history stuff because I thought that would be really easy. What's up? Speak up, sorry. If you want to get a jump-off point for getting started with chiptunes, jump-off point would be go download any tracker. In my opinion, since I'm coming from an authentic point of view, figure out what system you want it to sound like. You want it to sound like Commodore? Great. You want it to sound like Atari? Great. Figure out what you want to imitate, and then find a tracker that's specifically designed to do that. And all of the tools are free. So, I mean, the 5 trackers I just had up on the screen, none of that shit costs any money. So don't worry about that. If you do have a little bit of change, and you want something that's going to do all of those systems, and you want to work in a modern DAW, like you want to work in Sonar, or Logic, or Ableton, or whatever, you can go get something called Float Chip Sounds. And it's fake, but it is the absolute best of the fake. And it'll let you choose. I think there's even a checkbox in it that like lets you turn on authentic versus non-authentic mode, so that like certain systems don't go high or don't go low. The Sega Master system doesn't have any fucking bass. The Nintendo, you can't drop your square waves below a certain level. The Atari sounds like it's off pitch because like the 2600 only has 5 bits in the frequency category, so they don't even line up with notes. Shit like that. You can choose whether to rule break or not. All I ask as a chiptuner is if you're doing rule breaking, be forthcoming about it. Don't be like, yo, this is that authentic 8-bit shit, and then like right when Harry's off it breaks all the rules or something like that. Your hands up. What's up?
So I'm a real musician, I guess I would say. I produced a lot of albums, so I'm wondering how much work is it for someone like you to take an actual song such as the Aha song or whatnot and convert this thing? Do you actually need the 32-bit file or what?
So here's what I do when I write a chiptune. I open that tracker. Okay, I guess I should have explained this at the beginning. I don't know how to read music. And the only note that I can sound off of the top of my head is a G because I used to tune a guitar. So, like, if you tell me play a middle C, I know how to find it on a piano. But if you ask me to find a middle C, like, on a musical staff, or, like, give me a short Mary Had a Little Lamb on, like, a musical staff, I can't do that.
I'm kind of a hack myself, it's okay.
Yeah, okay, so the point is I'm a piece of shit. You can do this if you want to. You know, I mean, my original, here, let me get a tracker so that you can, I've been doing this for a long time. Like, I mean, over 20 years I have been writing chiptunes and tracker music and whatever, right? But, I mean, like, here is, how do I help that? Yeah. Here is what my, this is on a Commodore 64, and this is something that, does anyone know who Josh Walchel is, other than this guy in the middle? He's a game composer. He does something called Songs for the Cure, which is like a cancer compilation or whatever. He's like, I need a song, and I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off, and like, the day before everything was due, I was like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And I wrote this. Song on Spotify or something, and like I wrote it in a day, and you literally just like put it over here so you can see like. So the shit you see in there is what you type in to get chiptunes. I mean, like, you just have a keyboard, right? That sounds like fun. So you literally just, you know, pick instruments off of here and like, I mean, and I can tap out, you know, like, you know, but like, I don't have piano skills. I took like organ, which is like piano for dummies when I was 4. And then I stopped because I got bored and I was 4. And like, you know, so I guess my point is that whether if you're a regular musician and you want, or if you're not a musician at all or whatever, go get a tracker like this one, Milky Tracker or Fan Tracker or Goat Tracker or, you know, what the fuck ever tracker. You can get Mad Tracker and send all of your complaints to this guy right here if it doesn't work. Or you can just send me an email and I'll give you some advice or like tweet at me or something. I have a fuck ton of business cards that I would love to give everyone before they leave. Technically it's 5 o'clock, but since we set up late, I think we can go a little bit late. And I would love to answer more questions and show you guys some cool stuff and whatever. So like, let's just do it live. What do you want?
You know many good Max trackers?
All of the trackers that I just mentioned. But Milky Tracker is specifically multi-platform. So Milky is sample-based. So if you want to stick authentic, there's another one called Deflemask. Deflemask. And Deflemask will do like 7 different systems all in the same app. And he is also working to make it WinMath Linux. So those are 2 really good starter ones. What's up right here?
How steep is the learning curve for someone who's never done anything like this before?
I really wanted to run it last year, and maybe I'm just going to do it like not in here, but I'll do it somewhere this year. Last year, I showed people how to write music in a tracker in and out from scratch. So I promise it's not, there is a learning curve, and you do need to get that you're like putting notes in a thing, and it would help if you have like a brain that has some sort of logic. But if you can get over those common sense things, like this is not, I'll show you later, it's fine. Yeah. Hit me, more questions.
What are your...
My influences? Well, I did a 9 Inch Nails cover album from start to finish called Pretty Hate Machine, which happens to be highlighted by that poster. And it is the full Pretty Hate Machine from start to finish on 8 different systems. So it would be safe to say that I fucking love 9 Inch Nails. The music, oh yeah. I don't know if anyone's, does anyone, I don't know if you recognize this guy, he's kind of smiling. That probably ruined the picture right there. No one's ever seen Trent smile. All right, what do I have in here? What's everyone's favorite 9 Inch Nails song off of the first album? FYI, Closer is not on there. Sin? All right, so the sound chip in the Commodore is called the SID, so I did Sin on the SID and called the song SID. And that's going to be, I don't know where the fuck my files are. There, that, yeah, something in there. Sin, that one. All right. Watch it play. And that's the end. I can still answer some more questions, but yeah, my laptop's dead. Oops. Before the people that are walking out walk out, I'd like to flaunt one more thing, and that is tomorrow at 2 a.m. I'm running something called Ask Me Anything. And you can ask me anything, and you can keep on asking me chiptune questions, although you can also do that right now. The point is I expect everyone to have at least 1 or 2 drinks in them if they're a drinker. If not, I'll excuse it. But I used to run MAGFest, if you don't know that. I also wrote a clone of Dance Dance Revolution in Python from scratch. I worked in IT for like 17 years. I used to be a courier and deliver computers to like addresses that don't exist in West Virginia. I used to work pizza. The point is I've had like a really interesting and weird, fucked up life. And I would love to answer any of the weirdest questions you have. I have CDs, but I don't know if I have a marketplace table, so I'm actually like selling CDs from this panel and that panel. And then, last but not least, the most fun that we're going to have at my Ask Me Anything panel is my roommate and I made coffee vodka, and the coffee is so strong that you can't even taste the vodka. And we thought we filtered it really well, but there's actually sludge at the bottom of it. And if I get enough CD sales and or donations, I will eat the sludge on stage. So be sure to be there for that, right? I also have a concert Sunday at 4 p.m., which I may or may not be alive for because I ate sludge at 2 a.m. the previous night. What's up?
How many CDs would it take?
How many CDs would it take? I have a box. Well, okay, so with me, I have approximately 50 CDs total. I have a box with all 4 albums I released on CD with me right now. I would like to sell at least this entire box by then.
This is the whole box. Get on it.
I mean, I make deals and shit. You can. I'm a real dude, so you tell me what you want to do. Other questions? Ask me something weird. Who wants to ask me something weird? I like being weird. Oh, yeah. Okay, ask me something weird.
If you don't sell enough CDs, what's going to happen to the sludge?
I'll probably try to put it on someone's face.
Make it a charge because if you bought a CD, you have to eat the sludge. That's just FYI.
Questions? Ask me questions. Since I didn't get to run the real panel. What even is in my real panel? I don't even know. No, what's up?
This is sort of out of left field. Originally, we got confused with signs about this was the Sega panel, so I had this question, but I thought maybe you'd know. Do you know what happens to Billy Hatcher, the giant egg? Like, it seems like Sega's trying to cover that up now. He's not the latest Sega and Sonic All-Stars racing game.
That's a really good question, but I think the best answer that I can give you is that if you forget about everything after Sonic 3, you're a better person.
That's sort of, I figured it fell in that category.
Yeah, that's my opinion about that. Any other questions about chiptunes? Oh, one of my other influences that I meant to mention is the song that you heard before the 9 Inch Nails track was kind of influenced by BNB Nation. I do like BNB. I do listen to a lot of prog metal. If you really want to get like ultra mega nerdy, there's a project band with people like Dan Suano and all sorts of other like Death Black and prog metal people, and it's called Star One, and every single song is about a sci-fi movie or TV show. And none of it uses there's one about Star Wars, and you literally have like power metal singers singing at each other about like the Luke, I'm your father scenario in Star Wars, but no Star Wars music and none of the actual words from the movies. So it's just like about Star Wars, and it is probably one of the most epic things you'll ever hear if you like sci-fi. But they also have really awesome riffs. Ask me something weird. What's up? The weirdest what? The weirdest delivery I've ever made. So my first job as a delivery courier, and by the way, I don't know, like some people synonymize delivery courier with like FedEx guy. I was working for a company that was licensed and insured and all that shit, but they're the guy that like if FedEx or UPS or whoever can't find your address or doesn't want to deliver to you, they send us. And so that also includes like time sensitive stuff. So my first job ever after my test job was they sent me to the airport to pick up something from like United Air, and it was a box, and it was a little bit cold, and it said, warning, live organ tissue. And there's a bunch of check boxes on the sticker for like heart, liver, lungs, whatever, and then there's like there's a checkbox for other, and it says pancreas. And so I'm like looking at this, and it's like, oh, I have a pancreas on ice. That's why they want it delivered to the hospital within an hour. So, I mean, I got it there in 15 minutes, no big deal. The airport was not very far, and the delivery was at like, I don't know, 9 at night. There was no traffic, whatever. And I get there, and there's like no one there, and it's supposed to go to this organ transplant thing. And, you know, like, so I just yelled, and I was like, hey, I brought you dinner. And a voice comes from the back, and they're like, I hope it's my favorite, a pancreas. That was probably one of my better deliveries.
Can we get your business card?
Can you get my what? Oh, yeah. Everyone come up here and take a business card. Until I run out.